Now it's recording.
All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 40 LBSU Sports Show. I'm your host, Justin Ganz, alongside my co-host, Brianna Wong. How are you doing tonight, Brianna?
It's been a long time, definitely. I've missed so many shows in so many weeks, but we are back. We are back to talk about baseball, basketball, volleyball, softball, and track and field. And I'm excited to go back and talk about some amazing sports that have happened within the weeks we have taken a break. So, how are you feeling, Justin?
I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, I've been following men's volleyball a lot recently, and it's been just a really great couple weeks for the guys. They recently lost in a back-to-back series against the University of Hawaii for the first game of the conference play for the 2026 Big West Conference. They've beaten Penn State in the most recent weeks to improve their record and also have done just a great job in getting Big West honorees. Wojciech Gajek earlier this week received Big West honors by being named Big West Freshman of the Week, as the biggest match came out of that University of Hawaii versus Long Beach State game at the Walter Pyramid. Obviously, the atmosphere for both games was incredible. A lot of Hawaii fans showed up and cheered on the guys from the island, while the beach supporters were right in there in the thick of it with them. But I want to talk about Friday night's game first. One thing that was really a huge kind of shocking uh, point was three players during the match went down with leg cramps due to the heat outside and not getting a lot of hydration, it seemed like. But Hawaii just came out swinging the first set, and then Long Beach responded quickly in set number two. And
Yeah.
then Hawaii went up in set number three, responded right back. It was a back and forth battle going to five sets, which Hawaii ultimately won. And that was their first win since 2015, Brianna, that Hawaii has won at the Walter Pyramid. So
Yeah.
huge props to Hawaii on their victories over Long Beach State over the weekend.
Yeah.
But Brianna, you were taking photos for that game and doing video. What was your response in a way
Yeah.
to
It
that
was an
first game?
incredible hyped day. It was amazing to just see the Hawaii fans back in the Walter Pyramid, and it was crazy. It was a crazy night for the beach as well. I want to talk about the first match, the post first day match. So basically, we were both present at the sold out LBS Financial Credit Pyramid, and you went to both nights. And the atmosphere there was incredible. As you mentioned before, the Hawaii fans are as passionate. I think one of the most passionate fan bases of Volleyball Nation, and it was insane. It was a powerhouse, and I got to give credits for both teams. LB Nation as well as the Hawaii fans. They were throwing it down. They were very competitive, and I think going into the game, I felt like everyone, including the players, were excited for the matchup. Hawaii have always had history with Long Beach State. And, I want to go into the stats because Long Beach pulled an incredible game with a total of 64 kills. Jay Gayak, who we can call all Greek, is not the player of the match. And he
Mhm.
pulled the most kills with 22 kills and two aces, especially with the leg cramps going on. And that was an impressive play by the Polish freshman. And I also want to talk about Jackson Chris, who was phenomenal with five blocks as well as two aces for the freshman. The game was a super tight competition. Long Beach State ended up losing both matches to Hawaii, losing in five in night one, and then getting swept in night two. But this hasn't happened, like you mentioned, from 2015. And both teams were the members of the MPSF conference. I not only I wanted to ask you, Justin, what do you think going into night two? What were some struggles? Where were some disadvantages for why Long Beach State, got swept?
Well, one of the huge reasons when I was watching the game from my perspective, sitting courtside, from night one and night two, it kind of carried over. They did a little bit better with this in night two rather than night one, was blocking. A lot of the ways that Long Beach State attacked was great, but they ran into balls that were just getting blocked and blocked back in. And even when Long Beach went to go up and block, Night one, very much of a two-man blocking style, and they let Hawaii cut right through the blocking system that Long Beach State had, hitting them right through the seams and just not really getting chances
Yeah.
for Long Beach State. Now, night two, they did a way better job with their blocks. They were triple blocking a lot better, but Hawaii just stepped up. Louis Sakanoko for Hawaii just came into that game, both
Hmm.
games, hitting over, I want to say it was either 15 or 19 kills throughout both matches. And he had a really huge impact on the game for Hawaii coming into night two as well. But they did really good on their triple blocks for night number two. And they even subbed in Isaiah Pruitt. And when Long Beach State was able to put in Isaiah, they were able to get their triple blocks in. They were able to just kind of feel the system better. And when he was subbed out, it was mostly guys were not able to get up and get the triple blocks going for them. I will
Yeah.
say though, Long Beach State, without having Ben Braun in and without having Isaiah Pruitt in, those guys are key contributors facing a
Yeah.
taller team in terms of height advantage, like Hawaii. They had a way taller team than Long Beach State. And even if you look last year, there were players on Long Beach State that were taller and were able to get triple blocks in on Hawaii. Now this year, different squads, smaller stature, but they can still hit the ball pretty well. Outside attackers, Skylar Varga and Wojciech Gajek had a huge game this weekend on both team, or I should say both terms. But I would definitely say for sure Long Beach State played their hearts out in both night one and night two,
Yeah.
despite the losses for Hawaii.
Yeah.
But Hawaii also did come out here a couple weeks ago for baseball too,
Hmm.
which was a
Yeah.
really interesting series.
Yeah, but before we go to the baseball, I wanted to sh share everyone with the struggles and the disadvantages that Long Beach State had versus Hawaii. And I did some study over with this, but it wouldn't be a show without stating the struggles. And Hawaii had that include their advantages. So I think Hawaii is known. Um, you said that we had amazing blocking, which I agree, but Hawaii is just known for their powerhouse aces and kills. So they
Mhm.
came in with that confidence as they got the first win in the beginning set. And then Long Beach came around, tied the team. Both teams had to deal with the competitive fans yelling in the back, and we had to give credit to Hawaii for playing tightly against the beach, especially in their competition's home court. So Hawaii serve, receive, and tight on court coordination. Those are the two things, and communication drove them forward within the 3 points gap. The beach had to deal with the strong, aggressive serving pressures as well as kills. I want to give credit to, as everyone know, and Hawaii knows, Tread Rosenthal, who comes in from a very athletic family, but also has played with Team USA with Kellen Larson and Jackson Chris. So he does come from that competitive volleyball background. And it was interesting to show those two kind of going back and forth. Jackson Chris, Tread Rosenthal, as well as Kellen Larson, going back and forth. And I think that was a very amazing match to watch. But now, as we move into the baseball, the Beach are now um, ranked third in the nation. And I do believe that we have more chances throughout the season to improve and this might be a very important match, but Long Beach State is no doubt going to work harder than ever and train harder than ever to focus on what is next and to get 1% better. So I am very excited. We're going against CSUN this week, and it's going to be an amazing game. CSUN has an incredible team, and now that we're competing with the Big West Conference, I think we have a lot to focus on, and we can't let this go down. Even though it was an incredible fallout, I do believe Long Beach State has what it takes to still win within this
Mhm.
championship final and
Yeah.
within this championship. So, yeah,
And I would agree, Bree, like, coming into this game, they take it 1% better in the gym every single day. Obviously, the guys after night two didn't really look super defeated. Night one, you could tell after the game they were upset a little bit, but after
yeah,
night two, they're like, we're gonna regroup Monday and basically take take our next focus, which is CSUN, which they'll take on the Matadors from the Matadome on 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 Friday night and
Yeah.
then head back to the Pyramid for game two of the series. But I do want to say that Miles Jordan and Tread Rosenthal, they're both from Houston, Texas, and both grew up together. So that was pretty
Yeah.
a cool thing to see after the
Yeah.
game. Those guys were taking pictures on the court and stuff. So really cool to see that,
Yeah.
especially Miles coming into Long Beach State as a freshman. And I also just want to give shout out to Hawaii's Adrian Rohr. He played a great game in both
Mhm.
nights one and two. Last year, he came in as a freshman and definitely showed why he can give Long Beach some struggles on the defensive end. And coming into the game on Saturday and Friday, he definitely showed why he's one of the best
Yeah.
um,
And
players
to
in
talk
the
about
nation.
players to add on, I want to talk about Braden Marquette, who came in from Jessup and Penn State. This is his and then he was improved. He was for Hawaii. So these are three games that coach has now brought him on, and he's just impressive. It was kind of genuinely a kind of a shock. Not to any offense of how Marquette plays, but wow, coming from the bench and already stacking kills after kills, Marquette has an impressive backbone for the beach throughout these past two schools and now Hawaii. So he's been
Yeah.
an incredible player as well. And I wanted to give credit to how Braden has you know, he's moved fast and he's moved and he's grown so much from the last three games. And I can't wait to see what he does in the moving season.
Yeah,
Um,
and I would say that Braden has had a great season at Long Beach, coming off the bench basically as almost a serving sub in a way, and just coming in playing the games really well. Mind you, he did play 2 years at GCU and was
yeah,
able to hone his skills. And coming into his junior year this year, Marquette has just been absolutely on fire for the beach.
yeah,
And getting to play for a school that he wanted to go to originally definitely shows that he's,
yeah,
determined and wants to win,
exactly.
a Big West
And
championship and let alone a national championship for Long Beach State. But I would definitely say that it is a really, really cool thing to see Braden at Long Beach State and getting to watch him play. And especially he's from Huntington Beach. He's a local kid, so it's good to see him getting a lot of action for Long Beach State.
yeah, it's been impressive to watch him. And the one thing you did mention, what I loved is, Trent Rosenthal and Miles Jordan came from the same town. What I love about, Volleyball Nation is that even if you're from a different team, UCLA, Long Beach State, you did have experience kind of growing up with each other and training
Mhm.
with each other, whether it's on the U.S. national team or even, from the same town. I think it's an amazing community that we have, and I think Volleyball Nation is overall, even if they're different teams, it's all connected with just the sport, and I love that so much. But
Yeah, and
that
it's
being
really,
said,
really cool too.
yeah,
So
let's go into baseball now. So since we last talked, baseball is currently 6 to
in full
13.
swing, pun
Yeah.
intended. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would say, we had a great series against Hawaii, taking two
Hmm.
out of the three. It'll be their final game against Hawaii as a member of the Big West, but they played LMU before their games at Blair Field. Brianna, you went to go shoot the games um,
Hmm.
at LMU and also at USC.
Yeah.
Can you tell the viewers more what was it like for you getting to shoot baseball for the Dirtbags, especially for those big games that were non-conference matches?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to shoot for LMU, but I did go to the USC one. And speaking of USC, that team is, I believe, still undefeated, right? They stacked their 16th win with the Beach, and USC is just a competitive team. It's just a super athletic team to play around. And since we last talked, baseball is currently went against USC, Hawaii, LMU, Pittsburgh, Texas A&M, BYU, and Cal State Bakersfield, and many more. So we also had an exhibition match against Waseda from Japan. Right now, one impressive sweep from the Dirtbags has to be when they went against Hawaii, and I want to talk about that. So, funny enough, the Beach lost to Hawaii, but baseball did win to Hawaii. And before that, they got swept by USC, and which led USC to be undefeated. So I was at the game, and you could just see and feel that USC definitely had a dominant competitive play against the Dirtbags. When we talked to TJ Bruce after the game, he acknowledged players like Reed Montgomery for stepping up that game. And I will go into Hawaii now, where their player of the match was Jason Gurfers. Gurfers impressively led the Beach to their win 2-1 against Hawaii, also throwing in complete games. So the recap of it was the Dirtbags managed to win the next game, which would be LMU, and which was last Tuesday. And then they are currently at Bakersfield for last weekend. Now they're focusing on UC Irvine. And I wrote it down. So UCI is coming off an amazing last season with 43 wins, Big West champs, as well as an NCAA regional runoff, which means that USC has a huge advantage going up against the Dirtbags. However, Long Beach State will need to work hard and use this as a practice for the upcoming season. I expect the Beach to at least come in with some run-ins, and even though we know that USC is going to be a hard competitor, knowing that they had an incredible run last season, they're going to have to work harder at maintaining their title and reputation, which would make the Beach, hard to take down UCI this weekend. What do you
Yeah,
think?
and obviously it's the first of a few games for the Black and Blue rivalry against UC Irvine. Obviously, it's a huge deal, not just for baseball, but in terms of the overall rivalry point system that the two schools have against each other. Obviously, I think UC Irvine coming off of their, Big West run last year definitely is going to face a huge challenge. But I expect Reed Montgomery to actually have a big game for the Beach throughout these three
Yeah.
matches at Blair Field. And overall, Bree, I think Long Beach State has a chance to sweep the season series against UC Irvine this year.
Wow. That's a big impressive uh the opinion, but I love that. And I think the Dirtbags do have some grit that they have shown from previous games. We got to talk about Dylan Lima, Jason Gurfers, and Jake Evans, who have been impressive players within each game, who has been on the field and knows what they need to do and knows what TJ Bruce needs to do better to gain those wins. I'm gonna expect UCI to win this one, but I will say hopefully the Beach will come in with some runs ins and some home runs, and yeah, that's what I had for baseball this week.
Yeah. And basketball recently has been going on for March Madness as both Long Beach State's women's and men's teams obviously were not able to make it to the Big West tournament due to their records, but I want to shout out Hawaii's men's basketball team for winning the Big West title in their final season. So
Yeah,
props to them, especially a win over Cal State Fullerton. We like to see that here at the
yeah.
LBSU Sports Show, but
Uh-huh.
I definitely would say that Long Beach State's men's and women's basketball seasons was not the seasons that we were hoping for, but overall, I think next year there will be a new turnaround with the women's team. They will be having a few new assistant coaches being added to their roster to help Amy Wright bold her team for this upcoming season. And I would definitely even say for the men's side, it started out looking not so great, but they started to pull wins later in the season and basically managed to beat the eventual Big West champions in Hawaii at the Stan Sheriff Center for the final game of the regular season. So that was a great way to cap off
Yeah.
uh, season that wasn't the best for Long Beach State men's basketball. Back-to-back seasons where the men's team has not made the Big West tournament after winning the Big West in 2024. Brianna, what are your takeaways from this season from both the men's and women's side of things?
Yeah. Well, let's first start with the men's basketball team. I think they finished 10-22 within their season, which is more than half of the wins of losses they got. And they did, I will say I will give credit that they won against Hawaii, which is an impressive basketball team, like you mentioned. Hawaii just has an athletic side to their school. But talking about overall performance, the Beach did have double amount of losses as they did in wins, which is what I want to talk about. And I think when it comes to the last game, we could see an overall want and need to just win at the end of the season. And the Beach did struggle a lot with this season, but that isn't to give Chris Edgar credit to his second season coaching with with the new bench, especially with the new roster. Gavin Sykes, Petar Masterovic, Rob Diaz, who were some players to look back on. And Sykes being a freshman and already an outstanding player and a noble player of the week's tributes. I think it's going to be next season. It's going to be much more, much more strong. And I think the Beach is going to know what they need more. And going to the women's side, it was honestly one of the rough seasons that the Beach did. And I need to give credit to Amy Wright for coming in to also pulling off in a completely new roster as well as players like Kenan Kaw, Rosie Acott, and Jacoya Jones Brown, who have been incredible strengths to this team. And even though they were 5-25, which has a big loss, the five wins that the Beach did include was Cal State Bakersfield with going 72-62, Cal Poly 67-57, UCR 75-72, CSUN 62-61, and Hope International University 68-62. Those wins definitely did a lot for the Beach, and I think some of the challenges that the Beach face where they weren't as consistent within playing as a unit. I also believe that it ties to the whole team as a whole, and I do wanted to bring up one player that I'm excited for, which would be Lauren Harris. So I don't know, have you heard about Lauren Harris lately?
I have not actually. There
So
hasn't been
Harris
a
is
lot of
going to
news that
be
I
on the
found.
roster next season, was confirmed November 13. And let's talk about more about this sharpshooter. So she's from Faith Christian High School in Yuba City, California, who has proven to be a winner and scorer with the Lions. Last season, Harris led Faith Christian to a CIF championship, averaging 29 points, 14 to 2.2 rebounds, and 6.7 assists while making a California record for three-pointers in a season with 191. Harris set a record milestone with one season still remaining, having set a California career record with 500 three-pointers while averaging a double-double over the last three seasons at 27.4 points per game and 12.4 rebounds per game. So that just says, Harris is an amazing player, and I can't wait for her to be at Long Beach State. I've talked to many athletic interns as well, and they've all said that she's one to talk about, and she's one that will, make the beach more of a stronger unit. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
And from like just the stats that you just rambled off there, Bree, you could tell that Lauren definitely is going to be a huge impact
Yeah.
and for this beach squad, especially, I think one of the reasons why both the men's and women's teams didn't do as well this season was they were adjusting to Amy's game and adjusting to Chris's game. Overall, I think Long Beach is going to have a way better season than they did this year. They're
Hmm.
getting into the system. They're starting to learn how Amy
Yeah.
coaches. And I definitely think by having a skilled shooter like Lauren and somebody that can rebound will definitely help this Long Beach squad
Yeah.
for next season.
And
And
just to talk about it, both teams did had a tough season this season. So it's gonna push them and it's gonna be a reason for them to work harder within the off season and to get in some of those plays that they didn't get to have for the next season. And I can't wait for next season because I do know that the beach is great with rebounding and great with coming back up and making a comeback within the season. So that is something that I expect from the beach. And to have an amazing player like Lauren, she's gonna have to handle some of pressure, but I know that she's gonna be an amazing player on the field.
mhm. And here at the LBSU Sports Show, we kind of have some breaking news in a way. Brianna, would you like to tell the people the breaking news about you for next season by chance?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot right now. I won't say anything, but I do have some fun opportunities and fun ideas coming up because nothing is set in stone yet. But I can't wait for next season and this sports show and this media page was all founded with the love and passion of sports and it's gonna keep growing and I can't wait for fans and everyone to see where we're going, especially with you, Justin, as well.
Mhm.
So I won't
Yeah.
say anything, but I am excited to see where we both go, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and even for next season, you could expect Bree to be at the Walter Pyramid a lot more.
Yeah, a
Is
lot more.
that's all I'm gonna say on it. But
Exactly.
um,
Gotta,
yeah.
yeah.
Now, now I would like to get to your um sport, track and field.
Yeah.
Let's talk about track and field. This is
I
all
am
you.
excited, and we did see, we it was fun to see the beach kind of celebrate one of their players, Ryan Gregory, who I have to talk about at the Hawaii game. But track has got to be one of my favorite sports to watch, and one athlete to talk about is Ryan Gregory, who broke the school record with indoor heptathlon with securing 5,867 points. He capped off the meet by taking first in the 1,000 meter with a personal best time of 2 hours and 32 minutes and 2 seconds. For anyone who don't understand heptathlon, it's basically a multi-event for an athlete where they can compete in 7 events, and how you do is determined by how many points you set. And the seconds and Brian Gregory was just an amazing athlete, and he got recognized this week for breaking that school record and for securing the NCAA I believe competition. So it's an amazing thing to see kind of track athletes kind of breaking school records, as well as another school second school record, which has been broken by the men's 4 by 100 with Sebastian Lopez, Trey Sharon, Tristan Flores, and Vincent Jones, who have an impressive 39.5, which hasn't been broken since 2008. So that's 39.5 seconds. And 4 by 100s is basically one lap 4 times. Wait, it's actually 100 meters. Yeah. But as to end off, I would also want to recognize Rory Denise Lamont, who's the player that I really wanted to switch lives with, and she threw a 53.89 meters with a javelin throw. So those three have been amazing impacts to our track and field season, track and field department, and this weekend they go against USC and UCLA with another invitational, and I just know that the Beach are gonna come off with amazing PRs and they're gonna do an incredible job. So that's with track right now.
And what are your expectations coming in
Yeah,
uh for the next final sort of event in a way before
yeah.
the Big West
Well,
tournament starts up for them?
it's we're gonna go against a very tough school, USC. As we mentioned, USC, comes from a history with track and field being one of their most competitive sports. But we're gonna have an incredible run, and it's gonna be a great practice for our guys to put on their events and stuff like that. I do know that the beach with how we're going with the PRs with the school records, that just means a harder push for our athletes, right? So within each event, I know that for a fact that it's going to give opportunities for everyone to show some more PRs and to give more advantages. So that's the difference between volleyball and baseball is that track is a very individualized sport. And I can't speak for everyone, but I do know that for every event, I know we're gonna do great with the 4 by 100 for men's, and you know, our many events. It's gonna be fun, and I really want to go to this. I might go to this weekend's event. We don't know yet. I've been busy, but it's gonna be fun. I have yet to shoot for a track and field meet, but I will soon. So. That's it
And
for track. And one fun question of the day, since we're ending up. So the
and
question would be fun.
I actually have a fun question uh
Yes.
for you. So um let's go with yours first and then I'll
Yeah.
shoot with mine.
Amazing. So since I'm a film major and Oscars just happened, if you could make one movie with the Long Beach State men's volleyball team, who would be the director, producer, actor, writer, and cinematographer, and what story would you want to tell them from them?
Oh, oh man. I would probably say if we're gonna go down to writing and stuff, I would probably give that to Skylar Varga. Um, actor Jake Pizzanti. Jake definitely has that acting vibe that I could see. Producing it, I would probably say Isaiah Pruitt definitely would have a good producing role, or even Connor Bloom. And
Hmm.
then probably just like the director. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and probably say both McKay Smith and Nick McCrae doing a
Doing a duel?
co-directing job, and along with Amir Lugo Rodriguez for a
Yeah.
three-man directing job.
Who would be your camera person?
Oh man. You know, I'm gonna give it to Woj. I think
Woj.
Wojciech Gajek, I mean, I think he definitely can have a good shoot with the camera,
Yeah, it's
but
pretty tall and lengthy too.
yeah,
Um,
he could get, with the tall guy like him, or even Ben Braun, actually.
yeah,
Actually, I'll switch that. I'm gonna say it would be Ben Braun because Ben definitely, with his 7 foot status, he can get over places and get some good angles of the
there we
shots,
go.
get crouching low and getting some good
Yeah.
floor shots and stuff.
Yeah,
And
for
and music wise, it's actually gonna be a combo of Ben Braun and Dane Hills, the two DJs on the team that they do in
exactly.
their time. So I would say
Yeah.
the D Hills project running the music side of it.
I love that. So for mine, I'm gonna do an action thriller film, maybe something that involves using volleyball as a defensive mechanism. But my director would definitely be Ben Braun, just because we know he's a big fan of Star Wars, and I feel like he has so many skills. From building Legos with him last year, but I feel like his big middle blocker skills just shows how much control and length he has to control. And for my actor, I'm gonna go with Skylar Varga. Varga's strength and outside hitter position just shows how much energy and power he has to be fighting in the film, and to be thrown any kind of thriller stunts. It's gonna be him. And for my producer, I'm gonna go Dane Hillis, someone who has knowledge within throwing a party with his music producing skills, as well as someone who has definitely carried a team for his position. And my writer is gonna be Jackson Christ. We all know that how much he wants to read the Bible and stuff like that, and his knowledge with scriptures. And even if it's not a religion, I feel like Chris does a lot of study within, especially within the front row. And for my cinematographer, I'm gonna go with style and vision, and I'm gonna have to go with Isaiah Pruitt, who gives a lot of that. And plus, he has a good eye for from his Instagram account. So that's my answer for that question of the day. But what's yours, Justin?
So my question today that I just thought of I was going through the titles that we've won, national championships,
Yes.
runners up that are in the coaches lounge in the Udeca Center room at the Walter Pyramid, and a couple of them I noticed we do not have at Long Beach State. One of them being swimming and diving. But my fun question for you, Brianna, is if you were going to revive a sport that is no longer at Long Beach State, what sport do you want to see revived?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say football. I want us to have a football team so bad. I think it's not only gonna be fun for our fans, bring in the Long Beach community, but I also think, as someone who's in the media stance and photography, videography, college football is one of those opportunities that I really want to have. And also, Long Beach City College already has their stadium, so why not just put Long Beach State back into football? How about you,
Yeah.
Justin?
And they did play at Veterans Memorial Stadium when they did have a football team in the 80s, 70s, and
Yeah.
early 90s before it was obviously taken down due to funding from the state. So I would
Hmm.
definitely love to see a football team back. We actually did have a former pro football player before he
Yeah.
was at Georgia. He was at Long Beach State, and that being oh my gosh, I am blanking on the name of
No
who
worries.
it was, but I definitely think that we would need to see a football team back. But what I would love to see is you're seeing this from a bunch of other Big West schools is a swimming and diving team. We already have a water polo team that's
Yeah.
great in the pool. We should definitely add swimming and diving to Long Beach State again, and I think that would be a very, very huge thing to add, and just a great thing overall for the school to add a men's team and even a women's team. I think
Hmm.
both of those are key for competing in the Big West and earning Long Beach State more championships,
Yeah.
even at the national level.
And coming from Long Beach State, we are a water school. We thrive in the summer. We thrive in, beach volleyball, water polo, volleyball. And I think swim and diving will be a sport that I would really love to watch too, just seeing them thrive in the ocean, thrive in the water. And I think we have a great amount of swimmers here at Long Beach State with our both our men's and women's water polo teams. So that is an exciting sport that I do want to see, as well as
Yeah.
football.
And one other sport I want to add, I know we got a club lacrosse team for the men's team. I would love to see Long Beach State add lacrosse
Yeah.
as a huge thing because lacrosse isn't really big out here,
Yeah.
but I would like to see Long Beach State add a lacrosse team or even a men's soccer team to even it out
Yeah.
over on the other side.
Definitely a men's soccer team. That is still a question I have every single day. But a men's soccer team would be fun to have.
But yeah, that will be the show for it today. Thank you so much, Bree, for joining us.
Hmm.
Once again, co-hosting. And our next event that we will be talking to you guys about is the recent Big West matchups for Long Beach State against CSUN for men's volleyball, the recent track and field events that are going to be happening over the weekend,
Yes.
and
Baseball against UCI.
baseball as well versus UCI.
And
And
maybe some beach volleyball. I know the beach volleyball have has been amazing. I think they're ranked 11 right now.
yeah,
So
yeah, the beach volleyball is ranked 11 in the nation. So Long Beach State women's beach volleyball has been doing a great job. And a lot of outside player, or I'm sorry, a lot of the indoor players are now going in and
exactly.
playing in
Yeah.
for the beach
Yeah.
season. So it would definitely be good to talk about what they got going on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and that's also another sport that I want to shoot for. So we got two sports. Let's see by next week if I've done any of them.
Yeah.
But thank you so
So
much, Justin. It's been fun, and we will continue with our show. No more breaks. We gotta prioritize this. Yeah.
yeah, and we'll see you all next week for another recap of Long Beach State sports. Go Beach.
Go Beach.